This is Kessben 93.3 FM, a new wave of excellence in radio.
Foreign source no gumuno. Yanhwe de bia na wo suit na wo sere minim de ko.
And until you are with your name. So only them me but
Yeah.
the message in our case, people should always forget about the past and think about the future.
Yeah.
Mystery.
Okay.
But you know, me my advice in all these one said they also be at here and say Adibia we are be new be an support.
Oh yes.
If we are new be an bepe wasem. And new beans na also coach them near mamma ne pe wasem.
Okay.
Adie na opesa oye no so ma wadwen koso. Na oboa ho yi na oye niema ye na oye ne ye a. Obia oye na de say on ta wachi no. E chire oba beta wachi.
Okay.
In any football club, there's no football club as supporters I wonder. You always have people in opposition.
Okay.
You always have people are always the disadvantaged side.
Okay.
The people are among front or among can be and I've been young from your front runners. Front runners and a be almost so detractors in nipa any or mafa.
Sure.
But at the end of it all, the ultimate important. So bet me focus on what achieve. So what achieve what you know. Any po wa phone, any po ni wa phone at the end of it all, you have achieved. Until carry. Into whoever is running the club. The comments will come, people will scrutinize the jerseys, people will talk about Kotoko, both positive and negative.
Yeah.
At the end of it all, the task ahead of you is to make sure Kotoko team ni enrun a level will be any say be true. And only a Juma will be a dear Juma Chen and Sebia, you know, so Prosperity table of first game also you okay. Me say man impressed. Franco so you impressed. Nana Kwab so you impressed. Obi e chere na adwen. But you know as you see, me say me impressed na kotokoko bom at almost 2. Next game no match 4. Next game no match 5. Will I come here and say that I wasn't impressed again? No. Obi a on ta wachi bia and obi a prosperity baby na only happy bia. You know as kotoko ye league match league ni wie. Na kotoko adi league na. Would you go back and talk about time and coach ni bad na mempe? Coach dam so anyade. Dabi into obi an hwe nanim. Obi ani hwa o expect say obi a obenya 100% support. Unya da.
Okay.
But eno nso stop from o call mandate no call duty say so di adwuma.
Sure. All right. Afi yenhwe stories no mu kakrai.
Kamenko Champions League and our stories no.
And the Champions League games, you know, you bet me Dawson, bet me yi back we have expectations this year. And so nkebe teams no strength na the room kakra.
Okay, you know Champions League no the final no be baso next year in 2024 Wembley. Na edru Wembley you teams a Champions League say e venue bia o 30 o monka.
Yeah.
Say ye boy UEFA Champions League now who say ekopie mu atateka. The edge then say you are likely so obenya a team from England or a team from Italy in the final.
Yeah.
So Champions League ekopie mu ewo Athens. You are sure so obenya a team from Italy in the finals.
Okay.
So Champions League ekopie mu Santiago Bernabeu. You are sure so at least obenya Italian team in the final.
Okay.
So Champions League kopie mu Wembley, you are sure so obenya a Spanish team in the final. That is not to say Spanish teams go on winning our finals no. There were a lot of teams are winning Wembley now before Champions League final next year. So we teams are winning Champions League Wembley. Only one team per and this year Champions League no one team can qualify.
Okay.
Liverpool ewo Barcelona ewo Bayern Munich ewo AC Milan ewo and Genoa Yaka Barcelona winning twice ewo venue na your friend Wembley no inti ayas nkwane the only team omo entimi arepo ewo the UEFA Champions League group stage omo timi age Champions League in Wembley and the venue is Wembley. Anytime I be Wembley be adu say Barcelona ho keka no ewo soro in 1992 when they won the Champions League against Sampdoria, Ronald Koeman ball no share no na Wembley. In 2011 Abra Barcelona Manchester United will be abeka the famous video and Ferguson hope no Genoa na no so Wembley, but the last one was Dortmund against Bayern Munich na I am Robin Bull 2 goals I no na Bayern Munich are crowned as the champions into Wembley venue Genoa these teams no ultimate performing. So what shall last season big teams ni bebre so far in the Champions League enti wo hwe Bayern Munich a ekwan Manchester City fa so twe homa ball so eyi om film hwe kwan the same city edi team my friend Real Madrid efa so hwe kwan Inter Milan the AC Milan efa so Manchester United and team am to the very top. Juventus is missing. Benfica clearly omo nyina e wo ho de but omo ntime masoro Ajax is clearly missing. And so what all these teams are, you know, Barcelona for the second time running, no, it me make sure so man team and free group stage in ma the knockout stages and compete with the very best. But this time, Obian was Barcelona the quality about the team no, omo the talent about the team no. Obian expect Barcelona will perform and perform so well. Into Obian Sanche. Barcelona better struggle in the Champions League group stage, unlike the previous years now. And Emma Uncle Yan Farmano. Real Madrid actually the loopholes within their setup. The Jude Bellingham about said they are missing the main man and the goal scorer in Karim Benzema. Inti Obia Shishan and Niama and Bayern Munich after struggling against Manchester City. Said there's a missing link within their setup, and that is a number one striker of Bemom goes and the Hurricane Abba. PSG will start the Champions League without Neymar da Silva, and then Abranti FN Sergio Ramos, and then Lionel Messi plus Marco Verratti. Inti omu nyina akode, but almost the new guys about be show omu team ma, you know be expect to say enyema betimi akoyi. Now Manchester City on the other hand, and so Ben missing the intellect of Eye Iko Gundogan in midfield, Riyad Mahrez acting as a super sub, Sanya Menina of Ben Messi, and then Laporte acting as a super sub in defense. Into Manchester City, Genoa almost year champions, no, Genoa almost Ben Messi that particular piece. Inter Milan almost bought against Manchester City in the final. This season they've considered only a goal in the Italian Serie A, but they will be missing Andre Onana. Genoa, Edin Dzeko will not be there, Romelu Lukaku will not be there, and their main pivot, Marcelo Brozovic, will not be there. But still, the team is intact. Only the Marcos Thuram Mababeka no be here with the goal that he scored against AC Milan at the Derby de la Madonnina. But in all, the Manchester City team, they know almost dominated Champions League to say there, almost dominated EPL, no, and again. They think say so the team need now the other teams this are a better position to win the Champions League again and again. Pep Guardiola is still around. Into season where season January the big teams now almost suffer. Liverpool suffered last season and and Farm, but this time they are back to the fold with a new midfield. You better how they will also perform in the Champions League on the way to Wembley. Almost what the Champions League will be Wembley that against Club Brugge into almost what history will be a Quackable Champions League final into be a say almost beat me up performance and against any of the big guys. Someone says there are needing to stop any of these big guys.
Okay. And this is a matches no kakra. I am funny now by any crowd. You have PSG Dortmund.
Yeah.
In Chassin Free.
Okay. You know, Paris Saint-Germain and Borussia Dortmund and a boom.
Oh, Park
the Princess. The last time at Dortmund, EBPM or Park the Princess now and Koye Omulusu by 2-0 after beating PSG 2-1 in 2019-2020. Abraham Kobo Champions League final no Portugal. This time it is a new PSG setup with a new coach and make us a new one. Former players be brano money be break up. Into Oshe the PSG defense. Gigi Donnarumma is still there. The right back of Ashraf Hakimi, Lucas Hernandez is new. Milan Skriniar is new. Marquinhos is still among the old guys. Oh, Bamidfoda, Zeri Emery. You talk about Vintina and you talk about Manuel Ugarte. Again, Manuel Ugarte or your pivot only new within the spine. And I say, oh, here anymore. Dembele is new, Kolo Muani is new, and then Kylian Mbappe on the left. In the 4-3-3, and on the this particular game, don't forget, on last game, we league against Nice, elusive by 3-2. But after the game, Coach FN Luis Enrique Martinez Lucho, edited just, are you satisfied with the kind of performance? My friend, PSG players, no, at the Maya. So, Dortmund on Swan. Edin tell the Tinson, the setup was same kakra. And I still old guys ni be ewo into Besembani on the left, Mario Wolf on the right, no actually experienced Matt Hummels versus Slotterbeck at the heart of defense. A midfield of Sabista over here Emre Can, Oberfa will be the say Julian Brandt, Michael Royce will be available. No Afa Marlon on the right with Sebastian Haller. And no ejina anymore. Do you know? PSG ade ba ko a omo ya ade pa when it comes to the Champions League group games. And no dear ultimately take anything away from them. In recent times, you talk about Manchester City, you talk about Bayern Munich, and a Champions League group stage in PSG. Omo be was watch PSG in the group stage a performance. But a pack the princess dia a no more debo eseni a game nim. Clearly so share midfield of Dortmund. Experience no was so ahead of Tima, your friend PSG midfield, but PSG defense no ebetimi a containing the attack of Borussia Dortmund, where they have Abrantia your friend Julian Brandt, Malen or Sadi Bibeba or Marco Reus alongside Sebastian Haller. But you must say Mario would love to come forward. Besemban is so person or Ben Matamos ever experience, but Olaki pace alongside Slotterberg, can then contain the pacey attack of a PSG. And only a Juma Dortmund was a general Omoye. PSG attack on a very sharp, Omoye quick, and so unya Dembele, na unya Mbappe dia Genoa. It was so tight on bet when it comes to the fullbacks. Colomwani is strictly and also to make of a free chance adeba nti adwuma no nyina beba beye how Dortmund can contain the attack of the Paris team. So omo timi contain the Genoa and nema betimi akoye di amamo. But if they fail to contain the attack, things will be very very tough for a team friend Dortmund at the Parc des Princes. And Genoa, it's a game that I feel so Dortmund will score, but PSG will win at the Parc des Princes.
We have other games now. Man City opponent, Barcelona opponent. You know, Doctor, Mr. Osofman for basically, I'm going to practice week again.
You know, I'm going to practice.
Practice week again.
But Newcastle is similar as a big game.
Yeah, really big game.
My main friend, we have practice for them so.
Okay.
Because Antwerp and Barcelona, it will say. Recent times, teams never find a way our team also as assets against Barcelona there. But I don't think the likes of Owen Wendell, who will say Khalidou Smiler of Antwerp, and then Toby Adaved, the good old Toby Adaveda. Do you know how much me understand the might of the Barcelona team? João Felix ever born very nice game against Betis. João Cancelo be shown the quality against Betis. Lewandowski are picking in the last 3 games, and Ferran Torres cry meaning in Genoa. Or also he just on form. In the Barca were option to choose from. Rafinha came from international break to come and score. And then Yamil Lamanti. Barca attack no option to choose from. In the said Toby Adaved, Nekalidu Smile Mobiti, they are good to go, but you know I don't think they will survive against Barcelona. Okay. Barcelona bet you on my boss I film from. Okay. Newcastle versus AC Milan.
Visual Major Stadium.
Yes.
Italy.
The last time Newcastle APM won, it was against Inter Milan. And I do know money a cowboy. First 2 goals, 42nd minute, 49th minute from Alan Shearer and Ivan Cordoba and Christian Bobo Vieri better Academy and 2-2. Into the last time Omuru was San Siro, no, and now they say Newcastle United team elusive.
Okay.
This time they are playing against AC Milan. In fact, acquire Inter Milan the AC Milan far so weekend we no Genoa. Almost the Stefano Pioli at on a level. Clearly, said the Newcastle for a start a season no any the hopes are among for now what team nim season anyhow they started against Aston Villa no. No kure woman says so I show games so my bon and say you know impressive. And the last game boy no penalty no Anthony Gordon in you know it was controversial and team and Niema enko yim from Newcastle. But again, so show game now because no more Champions League game into decided to rest some guys. Into rest some of the guys are Tonelli's someone like him started from the bench into holding the air room this particular game. Joleton is not likely to play, but Trippier, offer Obitse Bortman, Danny Ben, offer Fabian Shai, midfield of Tonelli, Longstaff, Beba Bishim, Ediama, Joleton, Bruno Guimaraes is still available, and then Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon, and then Abrante friend Alexander Isak in a 4-3-3 norm the Aram. To our AC Milan so tomorrow still on my in Tiabeco Malik Tiao and then Simon Kaya. No mania Tio Hernandez Carabia, a midfield of Pobega, Kronik, and then Luftuchik, and then Chukwueze is likely to come in for a Christian Pulisic, Rafael Leao, and then Olivier Giroud in a 4-3-3. And Omunina so general Omudi room this particular game. The AC Milan is shown last season will be a more with the chance. Yeah. But you know, from nowhere. She players at Milan, the boy, yeah, the baby drew, baby Inter Milan, air show, and Sana Milan, airco, aqua final against Manchester City. So players now. About 95% of the players that's all, and comparatively, so do more compare Newcastle United that the other can say AC Milan team not individually. When it comes to the Champions League, about experience compared to a Newcastle for one of two players spend the woman, you know, or because the Champions League football no mabobi in Milan in the Champions League and then a BBA Saint Yanka Champions League de Genoa, can AC Milan in Newcastle at the Giuseppe Meazza and can a big deal. But the last times against Nekoso and Milan Airboom in the Champions League against a different opponent, or much less or more Bonuseni, or more against Chelsea, or more against not Tottenham last season, and in all AC Milan and Timmy Lusu sad games at the venue. A Chelsea in recent times against English opposition, no had a no more Bonuseni, and you know, a game that I would tip AC Milan. Stay playing at home. Wow. They have the support, they have the numbers, they have the experience. And I'm tipping them say beat me are winning by a slim margin.
Liverpool are not part of this season's Champions League. They are now part of UEFA Thursday Night Football Group. Good morning, Sergio. Strong Amido, South Korea. Oh,
yes, that's true. Yes,
okay.
That's true.
All right, Libya. Amido, a strong Amido. You better say, "Nanu na ko pa kakra." Now dream say Liverpool they can be also as a Champions League no come home. All right, kakra bi kabeka one na fi mako.
Oh, the matches then come.
Okay. Yemfensia ambre no so kra kwa na echo. Franco Naro, sir.
General.
Okay.
Not much to say on the foreign front. I think they are holding the donor be
okay.
But in the Champions League, obviously, I feel I drew Champions League ni proper. They all can Liverpool ni Chelsea de na Brabo sana TNT. Nye de bia no benya ne sa fi no betre fi no ma hwe kakra. What I say? Mo mbebo this night and Super
Okay.
Young can be pre.
All right. They drew her. Me pese me di area bi ema. Ano kra na manfo nanim say they drew her. Wouldn't titirimu ya dinya no ebebre manfo. Enra de em say the never hana na wo she bi bae. Fe dem so watia no English abrutimem. And
we had that.
Oh yes.
No, yeah,
so okay. Otia no be among crime. I say I remember 2 weeks we that video start. Who say no, I say English abrutin daddy no.
Singlet in Kwana.
Enye myself. All right, Jeba. Good morning, sir.